was gonna say after that Eric Debay recording, but I had to step away for a moment. But wanted to say, like, listening to the whole 9/11 thing all over again, all the details, like, we got so fucking badly played on that day, man. Yeah, I thought Swag joined. Why did he leave again?
I don't know, I guess he just dropped that devastating proof and left, you know?
Is that the same guy who was here like yesterday talking about Verrazano?
I don't think so, but he has been here before. I do recognize his name.
Yeah, because I dealt with that same claim just yesterday with someone else. It's always that bridge. It's only that bridge. Don't know what anti-flat Earth video it comes from. I was just imagining it's like whatever fucking McToon video just dropped yesterday, and that's the claim we're gonna hear for the next week, you know?
It's funny because, I mean, I was actually thinking I think about certain claims I haven't heard in a while, and I wonder when they're gonna come around again, and I was thinking about that bridge in particular, and then people started coming in and asking about it. But it'll be a while, and then it'll stop, and then it'll be Cavendish, you know, for 2 weeks, and then it'll be TFE and whatever, but this
I
Artemis
haven't heard
mission should be
Cavendish
interesting.
drop in a while.
You haven't heard what drop in a while?
Cavendish.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We just you gotta wait for the algorithm to pick it up.
We just had like a week of maps,
Yeah, that too.
so I don't know what we'll get. Well, we'll get bridges this week, I guess.
It's gonna be all Artemis all the time.
Yeah, that
I'm
too.
I'm hoping it's gonna be like after TFE, and all these cocky globers are gonna come in and telling us how a rocket shot in the air proves the Earth is curved, and we have nothing to stand on.
They don't realize that like nothing has changed. Like, you know, like none of our arguments are based on rockets. It's nothing to do with that, you know. You could launch 100 more rockets. It's not going to change anything. You were wrong before. You'll be wrong after again.
Right, and why do none of them question the value, even if this was real, the amount of money that's being spent to supposedly shoot a rocket around the moon, when
Yeah.
people on the Earth are having real problems and none of those are being solved, but sure, let's spend billions to shoot something in the air, you know? That's fine.
Yeah, even in their paradigm, the entire thing is not justified. Scientific pursuit, exploration of the cosmos. It's like, yeah, we don't need to be doing that shit right now, and you haven't fucking provided any valuable science. It's like you've grown lettuce on the ISS about 7 times. You know, you can recycle your piss in a coffee. Well done. It's you're not really bringing much back to Earth here we can work with.
But what about Velcro?
Well, the Globers need their Velcro. We know that. That's their in case gravity suddenly fails solution. You know, got Velcro bunkers so we won't float away.
The Velcro claim, like pretty much every single one of their invention claims has been thrown onto the completely debunked. They didn't invent Velcro or Tang or pens or freaking anything. Absolute clownery.
Does anybody remember the joke that NASA invented? Or was it the ballpoint pen to write in zero
Yeah, I was
G?
just thinking of it,
And
Jedi.
Russians just used a pencil.
Yeah. Thing is, you tell that to a Glober and they're like, fucking stupid Russians.
Dude, I've got the funniest clip saved of that clown Josh Ingersoll going on this emotional rant about how amazing NASA is bringing us products like Velcro, and he was just like he was just bullshit. Like I guess he was just regurgitating something he heard, but the way he spoke with such passion and confidence about how amazing NASA was. And then I've got another clip of us explaining to him that they didn't invent it and just how quickly he just admitted that he was completely wrong about that. And that I've got other clips of him saying, yeah, he's wrong about a lot of the things he says. He just kind of repeats. He's got a good memory and he just repeats things that he got told and he likes being called out, blah, blah, blah. But it's just shows the level of just bullshittery some of these so-called space nerds or space qualified space engineers, I guess you could call him, go
You
to when
really
they're
wouldn't expect that from someone of his caliber, quotes, you know?
well, that's all he does. All he does is just repeat things. I questioned him
Velcro,
about
memory foam, ballpoint pens, that's like pleb levels. They should be repeating them talking points. He should be giving us the actual scientific data they've discovered, you know?
right, but that's equally as bullshit. That's what I've noticed from him. I mean, he was saying things like if the sun was local and the sun was just moving away from you, you would still be able to detect things like X-rays coming from the sun that aren't affected by the atmosphere. Because he's like, yeah, the light would attenuate the visible light. The atmosphere would attenuate the visible light, but there's things like X-rays. And he's like, you would still be able to detect that. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me look it up. 30 seconds later, it's like Velcro is one of the things that gets absorbed first by the atmosphere. And you wouldn't detect any X-rays coming from the sun
Velcro.
through the atmosphere. And
You mean
straight
X-ray?
away, he just conceded. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I guess completely wrong about that. I was just talking out of my ass." But when he said it, he was so sure of himself, tending to be sure of
Yeah,
himself.
you said Velcro there. Velcro would get absorbed by the
Oh,
atmosphere.
X-rays. I said X-ray. I meant to say X-rays. Yeah.
But Josh could comfortably say Velcro is absorbed by the atmosphere, you know?
He would. Yeah, he could.
He would just be like, so, you know, he's so comfortable lying that he just does it as easily as breathing, you know? It takes a special kind of person to do that, you know? He's perfect for his job.
I mean, he said he just a salesman for satellite parts. That's what he was.
Is what he is. He's like TED Talk material, you know?
Yeah.
But I find it very interesting though when people talk about, you know, NASA's contributions to society, they come up with things like the space pen and Velcro. You know, we spent billions of dollars for
It's
Velcro.
absurd, isn't it?
Like, do they not hear themselves?
Didn't they start like ready meals? Like uneatable food that's vacuum sealed that you have to heat up.
I bet they
The
I
army
did.
think that's
probably
the
did that, didn't they?
military.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the army that did that, yeah. So not them for that either. Damn.
MREs and that.
Don't forget about Tang and memory foam mattresses.
There's nothing about NASA and what they get up to, what they claim they get up to, that's like based in any type of like pragmatism or justification. It's just it's all unreasonable, even if heliocentrism was real. The only like reasonable argument a Glober could make is to maintain nationalistic morale.
It was to take people's minds off the Vietnam War.
And we already know as flat earthers that is the main purpose of NASA. Among some other things. They're just they're an optics company, essentially. Public relations. I mean, don't know if Yoda, are you here?
Okay, so I just quickly Googled what NASA have invented. Apparently, they invented super soakers, so water pistols.
Super soakers.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know how to pressurize water before now.
Oh. Oh, dear.
So did everybody's like garden hose back, pre-NASA, just have like the one crappy setting of no pressure
I
that you couldn't
reckon.
get anything done with?
Yeah. Don't forget Teflon.
What's the backstory there, Jedi?
For what, super soakers?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it says is super soakers. This popular water gun was accidentally invented by NASA engineer Loney Johnson while he was working on a new heat pump. There you go. So one guy accidentally, because he was working for NASA, it's just one guy happenstance across this. You were right about the memory foam. There's a CMOS image sensor. Technology inside every smartphone camera and GoPro was invented by NASA's JPL to miniaturize camera for interplanetary missions. So small lenses. Cordless power tools and vacuums. To extract lunar core samples, NASA partnered with Black & Decker to develop portable, battery-operated drills. This technology led directly to the dustbuster and modern cordless tools. Wow, thank you.
Lunar core
Scratch-resistant
sampling?
lenses. Pardon me?
Lunar core sampling? Do they claim to have
Yeah,
done that?
To
you need a
extract
vacuum
lunar
to pick
core
up
samples. That's
electrified
what it
water.
says.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'll question AI. AI usually turns around to me, go, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm stupid. But yeah.
So yeah, they could construct the lunar buggy, play golf, do all the shit they did, but they couldn't pick up stuff off the ground.
Yeah, $37 million for those buggies. made from the cheapest materials ever.
Yeah, I've got the meme.
Wow, NASA's technology's gone into Nike Air shoes. That's fantastic. No wonder they cost so much. Those are space shoes. Space blankets, they invented those. Those lightweight, heat reflective emergency blankets that we see everywhere after marathons and whatnot. Yep, NASA.
Yeah. Of course.
You got
All right, here we go, Jedi.
okay.
Debunking your dumb AI. All right, with my dumb AI.
Sounds fun.
So
Speedos in a minute.
the claim that NASA invented super soakers is false.
Cool.
Super soaker was invented by Lonnie Johnson, an aerospace engineer who worked on projects for NASA and the United States Air Force. But he invented the super soaker on his own. Super soaker on his own at home, not an.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was typical for NASA because one guy tweeted and said his father was on the Saturn V era of NASA, and he said at least 50% of NASA employees were working other jobs or other gigs or something, either on the clock or off the clock.
What was your next one, Jedi?
Speedos.
What, like
So
budgie
Speedos.
smugglers? Speedos.
Yeah. let me read this. So Speedos LZR racer swimsuit used wind tunnel testing and fluid flow software from NASA to reduce skin friction drag. Yep, so Speedos. It gets even more interesting because down the bottom it's telling me what the common misconceptions are. Thanks. So NASA is often incorrectly credited with inventing Teflon, Velcro, and Tang. While NASA used and popularized these products, they were invented by other entities before the space program.
The claim that NASA invented Speedos is false. Speedo swimwear brand was founded in 1914 in Australia. The company behind it was originally McRae Knitting Mills and became known as Speedo International. That predates NASA by decades.
Wow.
Wrong country
What
also.
do you think about this, Jesse?
I just got here.
Okay,
But, I mean,
Swag Boy joined.
You've been here for like 5 minutes. But fair enough.
It could be that maybe
Selective hearing.
it could be maybe the Australian government was actually knew about that NASA would be formed one day, and that they were knitting them some fast underwear.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Swag Boy, you here?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you speak up?
Hello.
Hey, your mic is pretty
speaking.
muffled. Can you?
Damn. I
Can you
don't
say
know,
hi?
man.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Hello.
Hi, that's a little better. How you doing?
Doing fine.
Yeah. Hey,
What about you?
I'm fine, thanks. So, you came in and you asked us what we thought about Artemis 2, and then people offered their opinions, and then you told us all we were dumb. So, I was wondering why you said that, and yeah, I just thought we could kind of get into that because then you also said you were dumb. So, that kind of invalidates your opinion. But I'm willing to hear you out.
But the problem is you're making things up. You don't have any proof that they're faking it, okay?
We've got
Okay,
all the
but
proof
we
in the
asked
world.
you what we asked you for was proof that the surface of the Earth was curving at the given rate, and what you replied with was a rocket. Can you explain to me how shooting up a rocket proves that the surface of the Earth is curving?
Hmm. I did not know that you mentioned curvature. I was saying that to prove the Earth is a sphere, that's why I told the rocket and shit.
So, can you shoot if the Earth is flat? Can you shoot a rocket up into the air?
No.
So
Yes,
you
I
can't
don't know.
shoot a rocket into the air off of a flat
No,
surface.
no, no,
That's your
no, no.
contention.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
So you don't know whether it's possible to shoot a rocket up off of a flat surface.
I don't know.
Okay then.
Does it always have to be curved surfaces the rockets leave
Nope.
when you're setting up a rocket? Do we have to
Not
make sure the
necessarily.
surface is curved?
No,
Okay.
I guess.
Do we have to make sure it's level?
Mm,
Is it possible to shoot rockets off of level surfaces?
sorry.
Is it possible to shoot rockets up off of level surfaces?
Yeah, I think.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Put a rocket on your table.
yeah,
Launch pad, that'll be level. Unless you want to aim it at an angle, you could shoot rockets off of pretty much any surface, I would assume.
yeah, yeah. You can.
I got him there, Fences. Back to you, mate. It wasn't so hard in the end.
Thanks for taking over because I was kind of speechless at that. So, so we've ascertained that indeed rockets can launch off of a flat surface. So, can you explain to me why a rocket launching would prove that the Earth is a ball?
Because they will like make videos and like it's live. I don't know.
Okay, but again, that has nothing to do with the surface of the Earth. So, can you explain how the Earth's surface is curved? Because I've seen videos of many different things that aren't real.
Wait, do you believe in gravity?
Okay, this is not relevant. Can you try to stay on topic?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay, cool. So we can rightfully discard a video as evidence because we obviously have videos of many things that aren't real. So that's not proof for or against your claim. What we need is an actual measurement of the surface
Well,
to
you know,
show
it's
that it's
hard to
curving at eight.
measure the Earth. You know,
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
it's hard to measure the Earth.
Okay, but somebody had to have measured the Earth, right? Because we are given a radius value for it.
Yeah, but it's hard, and
Okay,
the people
so
who
who
have
did
done
it?
it,
Who?
uh,
Can you explain? Like, you can just, like, post your citation in the text chat. That would be
Just a
cool.
just a quick question. What do you think would be harder, to measure 66 feet of curvature over 10 miles over the surface of the Earth, or to build a space rocket and send it to the moon?
to build a space rocket, or yeah,
Where are we up to? I zoned out for a couple of seconds. It feels like an eternity. What's going on?
I don't know. This guy said we were dumb for questioning the rocket launch being proof of the Earth being a ball, but he can't
Okay.
really explain why.
Oh.
I think he's just
Oh.
kind of given up, you know.
Oh.
Oh,
I
this guy,
understand the
no,
silence then.
this guy.
Pardon me.
All right. He's got a new
Hi
talking
there.
point, and he's written it in the side chat. So the first thing we need to check is if he's able to say the word. Explain your
Nope.
point. Tell us the name.
Nope.
Go ahead. Say it.
I can't.
Say
Come
it.
on, dude.
Hey,
I can't pronounce that name. That's hard.
It's not a good start for your Eratosthenes argument, not being able to even say Eratosthenes.
Was he the-
Eratosthenes. Yep.
Was he the famous Chinese person or the famous Greek person?
Was
guys,
ancient
I
Greek,
got a question.
philosopher, polymath, whatever. Astronomer.
Hey, hi there, everyone. I got a question. May I?
Yes, please. Sorry to interrupt, but yes, please. You sound more alive than this other guy does. Would that be okay with everybody? Shh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Approved.
Thank you. I mean, this is the first
approved.
time for me to join you guys here.
Oh,
And-
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I have a quick question. Now the mainstream idea says it's round or it's curved, right?
Yes.
Now, my question is that what would be different if it was flat?
Not quite sure how to take that question. Does anybody else want to take it before I get confused?
Yeah, if it's flat, NASA owes us $1.1 trillion.
Well, they could have still charged us that much for dome cleaning or something.
I mean, my question is all about
Do you know they're
what
not?
would be different. What would be
Maybe
different?
that's where the money went.
Yeah.
So it all
That's why
comes down
chemtrails
to
are up there.
money, right?
Sorry, we've got waylaid from the point. Do apologise.
What I call you, man? The guy speaking.
I think it's a good question, though. What would be different?
What would be different?
Yeah.
Well, everybody already experienced the Earth as a flat stationary. It depends. You would have to get more specific with your question. So nothing would change that the Earth is already flat. So other than you actually realizing that you're living a delusion with your worldview, yeah, it would depend on each person's situation what would change. But you're still going to experience the Earth as flat and stationary every day of your life, like you already do right now.
But like as a mechanic, if I need to turn a round nut, I use, say, a pipe wrench. If I need to turn a hexagonal nut, then I use a socket or something. You know, it makes a difference. But what would be different for people if Earth was flat versus was a globe? On the light switch, if the light comes on, that would be the same on a flat Earth or a globe. What would be different, and how would it be different in real life?
If it suddenly became the heliocentric model, everyone would instantly die. So something that would.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't be here.
Do explain.
Well, let's just get a terrarium that's that's filled with life and water and not cycles that take place. It's self-sufficient, and we're just going to remove the container and just pop it in a vacuum. And little Jesse can be in there saying, "What's going to change?" And then your head will explode or something like that.
I want to see that.
Well, so is this problem related to a sudden change from one to the other, or are you saying that it just this would be a difference if it had always been that way for the entirety of Earth's history?
I guess it would never have developed in the first instance, so we wouldn't even be here having this conversation.
But why not? What would not have
Because
worked?
the first gas molecule would have fucked off ages ago and never have returned, followed by the next one and the next one and all the rest.
Okay, what are your base assumptions and your logic on that conclusion?
Gas expansion into a vacuum. Being
Okay,
as the gases I presume has got some energy from somewhere. I don't know how far back in the story we're going to need to go for the creation mythology. But for this instance, we need the formation of gas pressure. And if we've got, let's say, an outgassing, the gas is going to go out into the available vacuum. Why would it come back?
maybe it has weight.
No, why would? What do you mean? Maybe it has weight. No, why would it come back? It went up high up into the sky and then came back down for some reason. The gas expands. It's got energy. It's going to go in that direction until it has a physical collision with something else. Power of
So,
indefinite expansion, right?
well, let's explore this. What is your position on the pressure of gas in an undivided area? Like, will the air pressure be inside my house all the same pressure, or will there be more pressure
No,
at the
there'll be
floor?
multiple variables, multiple temperatures, multiple densities. We can talk about this all day, but we're talking about how we achieve gas pressure in the first instance for your creation mythology to start. Right, we're talking about what would be different. I'm saying we wouldn't even be here having the conversation because we wouldn't have achieved gas pressure in the first instance. Because if gas was produced, it would have dispersed into the vacuum. You said it had weight. Now you want to say, well, I can read different gas pressure. No, gas expands into vacuums, doesn't it?
But
Fill
does it
space.
expand? Does it expand equally in all directions, or
It
does it have a
expels
bias?
freely and randomly in all directions. We're going to be talking about some very differential variables if we're going to talk about there's maybe some more gas here because there's more gas produced here compared to over there where there's less gas produced, so there's less density. We could be here all day, but ultimately we're trying to achieve gas pressure. And at the moment, I'm giving you what gas is produced, and we're in an unlimited available space. The gas is gonna it's gonna start wandering around in that available space, right, until it hits something and changes direction.
All right. So we agree then that inside a container, like my house or whatever, my cell phone barometer will measure a greater pressure at the floor than at the ceiling. Are we on the same page there?
I'm sorry, did you just call your house a container for
Well,
gas?
we can if you like, but
No,
No,
I mean,
no, you said that, not me. Your gas is not an airtight your house is not an airtight container for gas.
hell
okay.
no.
I don't mind calling it not
Okay.
a container. So,
Okay.
are
Yeah,
we on the
because
same?
let's be realistic here. Your house is inside a pressurized container.
Is it warmer at the top of your living room? Is it cooler at the bottom? How's your heating flow? You got mini drafts. We're trying to achieve pressure, dude. Stop trying to get to. Well, when I go up a mountain, there's less pressure. Therefore, insert gravitational idea about the slow dispersion of gas and gravity before we get to the vacuum of space. That's where we're going, right? Now, we're talking about what would be different. Well, how would we achieve pressure? You're saying the gas has weight.
I swear that's completely broken when you say that gas have weight. when you call weight every direction, that's stupid. I'm so sorry for that, because what I heard that weight is that downward force. Gases don't have that downward direction. Gases move all directions. So are you calling gas pressure weight? No, it's not. So a molecule of gas can't weight it, can't put it on scale, because it moves all direction. So if you want to trick that scale, that measurement, you will have to press on that molecule of gas in every direction to stop it from moving. So you'll have to confine it. That's not measuring the weight of that molecule of gas, or those couple of molecules, or bunch of molecules. Doesn't matter. When you're confining them, pressing from above of those molecules by putting a sealed container, putting them in a sealed container, you are not measuring the weight of the gas. Put the same gas in a balloon. Will it measure the same? No.
It's my turn. So we could, though, take a container of a fixed weight and weigh the container without the gas in it, and then weigh the container with the gas in it. And then the difference in weight would have been the weight of the gas that we added into it, right?
Sorry, the container's physical, like solid matter that has a direction downwards. The gas is omnidirectional, moves freely and randomly in all directions, like it's doing in the container. Stop trying to use this conjuring trick to invoke that the gas inside the container that's moving in all directions is just going downwards.
Yep. Change that solid metal container into a balloon, rubber balloon. The same amount of gases inside this different containers. It changed the measurement on your scale. So why is that? Yeah, you're just letting those gases move a little bit more freely inside the rubber balloon that can stretch, compared to the metal container that is specific that has a specific volume. It can't stretch. It will just confine. That's why it's called gas pressure. It's confined gases. Gases being pressurized, being sealed inside a specific volume. So I am not measuring the weight of the scale. Again, try again.
So what causes the difference in measured weight of the container?
No. We've got something in a vacuum producing gas at the moment. We're trying to figure out what would be different. Remember, you're the one that's trying to be demonstrating how it wouldn't be different, because we would all still be here. At the moment, we've got the first gas molecule that's been produced, whatever, and apparently it's got weight. Okay, that's not a direction just downwards, though, is it? That's not how gas behaves. Gas is going to move off in a direction and maybe hit something and change direction. This gives gas the power of indefinite expansion. You understand the issue here, right? Stop asking us questions. We're asking you.
Well, I understand my paradigm.
Yeah,
was
I
asking
know.
you to
We
try to-
understand your paradigm. You're saying that the gas has weight because gravity and shit stops the gas expanding into the vacuum for some reason, and an actual violation of that law, because the law says it works in this way. You says, yeah, but no, it works in this way. So that's a contradiction to the law. You understand that, right? The law says this, you say, yeah, but no.
What law?
Second law of thermodynamics simply is expressed as gas expansion into a vacuum. The mixing of ideal gases, this is all different types of gases, they will mix. Doesn't matter about their molecular mass or whatever, they will mix.
Well, according to my paradigm, my model's paradigm, if there were one molecule of gas on Earth, it would hit the ground and bounce up, but it wouldn't
Hit the
continue
ground.
but it wouldn't continue at a constant velocity. It would be slowing down due to its own weight acting against its velocity until it would reach a zero velocity and then start falling and then bounce again, right? That's my paradigm, right?
Yeah, but that's just made up bullshit.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying my
That's
paradigm
that's
on
broken. That's broken. You're violating the first law of thermodynamics. So where that kinetic energy were spent on? When you're saying that that molecule will just lose its speed.
Yep. Fuck the temperature. Nope.
What? So when you're
Sorry.
following,
It's only just struck me how funny that was.
yeah, he's when he's trying to follow the second law of thermodynamics, he forget about this first one. So what?
I think it's hilarious that it's fallen out of the sky in the first place.
Me too. I'm still laughing.
Like, Jesse, you okay, bro?
Oh dear.
Hey, says who? It's good to see you. How's it going?
Oh, I'd be better if I wasn't talking to you, but you know, that's how it is.
Life throws things at us, doesn't it?
Yeah. So your molecule of gas, where's it coming from? I'm just curious. In your paradigm.
I'm a Christian. I believe God created Earth and all the gas for it.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Where is it coming from that it would land on the Earth?
I'm not sure what you mean. Where is it coming from?
You said in your paradigm the gas would fall and hit the surface.
Oh, I said if there was one gas molecule,
Uh-huh.
it would fall and hit the surface. Right?
Where's it coming from?
I didn't describe where it was coming from in that thought experiment.
That's why I'm asking you. Good grief, dude.
I think it's from Bangladesh.
See how I mentioned it kind of sucks talking to you because simple questions you won't answer? It's weird. Are all Christians this way? I'm just curious. Or is it just the dumb fuck ones? In my paradigm, just weird scenarios occur where gas comes from places I don't have to describe and does this, that, and the other and reaches near zero and blah, blah, blah. Good grief, man.
Even if give him his assumption, even if I give him his assumption that God created that gas of molecule, yeah, he created that gas molecule and all its attribute, so it will just follow the laws of physics normally as it's always doing. It has some kinetic energy. If it doesn't transfer that energy to something else, gravity. That magic string between the masses, yeah, that love between the masses. When the mass is near another mass, there is some love between them and they are attracting each other. That's gravity. It's the love or that magical string between those masses. Are you telling me that shit is consuming the energy? The energy is transferred to that shit? No way. Just think about it, Jesse. Gravity. What is gravity? If you just get that mass attracting mass, just think about those people, what they were thinking. They think that there is some magical thing between the masses that attract a mass into another mass. They never told you what is gravity. They're just telling you that gravity is the effect, attraction between masses. What caused that attraction? What? Love. Just try to follow, even in your paradigm. in your thought experiment, try to use those laws of physics. Don't forget anyone.
Necros, you're wasting your time, bro. This dude, he's like Matthew Lerms. This is a preferred position for them. This is a part of their cult, right? The heliocentric cult. Apparently, Jesse is a polytheist or something. He worships both Jesus and Helios. So he prefers this position. This is where he wants to stay. He doesn't want to consider anything else. He doesn't want to observe reality. He doesn't want to come to terms with reality. There's no reasoning with him. He's just bricked.
I understand that.
I wondered if Swag Boy might turn on his mic again and discuss some of the things he's been posting in the side chat. You there, Swag Boy?
Yes.
So, are you? Your mic is still muted.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I was talking to someone else, but that's fine.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, welcome to the room. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask.
Fuck yeah. Cool name.
And if nobody else has a topic, I was very interested in Jedi's take on gas pressure.
You were talking about gravity. I just want to continue with that.
Jesse, you're like fucking stuck 8 years in the past, man.
Maybe 9. But what better way to get me unstuck to explain it to me, right?
No, there's no point in that.
Oh,
Why do you do this to yourself, man? You're not embarrassed. I mean, I hope you're getting a healthy paycheck, honestly.
I wish I was. I'm a mechanic. I have to work for my own paycheck.
Jesse, I'm more than happy to ban sea lioners too. You know, that troll, which is obviously what you're doing. So, I mean, choose your words and your actions pretty carefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes, because I'll just unload you.
I want to speak to Swag Boy here a second. He said something not so smart. I've checked flat earth this is me, this is what he's typed. I've checked flat earth arguments. Most need bendy light, spotlight sun, or stretched maps that don't match reality.
I saw that and I was just skimming and I thought he was talking against the globe arguments at first.
Yeah. You know, bendy light is the globe's, savior.
He said
also-
he saw that. He said I bet he never did. I bet just
And
the illusion that they
spotlight
add
sun.
to the observation. They see straight beam of light and they think that it is bent.
Someone ban cryptic is just fucking messing up the chat.
Swag Boy now says that light travels in straight lines on a globe.
Right. So he doesn't even understand Glober's arguments.
it depends to if he understand what straight means, because majority of
Well,
Globers
yeah,
don't.
if he's gonna invoke Aristotles, he's gonna talk about parallel light rays, and then if he's gonna talk about any observations, he's gonna talk about bending light. They just pick whatever they need in the moment. That's the globe way. Swag, you need to understand there's only one single argument flat Earth needs, and that's that the surface measures flat, as in not having curvature to it, or major deviation beyond general topography on the terrain. He might have been telling the truth when he said he's dumb, by the way. He does seem a bit challenged to me.
Might? You're very generous.
Mm. Forever the optimist.
I know.
What was it Yaga said earlier? He's like, yeah, so Artemis is going to go around the moon, and they're going to give us a front camera showing the Earth in full HD glory all the way back to landing. And I was like, yeah, you're an optimist, man.
Is that what they claim they're gonna do, or was he just being
No.
funny?
We were just talking about like what media is going to come from this, you know? And he proposed that.
I hope it's at least as good as India produced.
Well, I said I look forward to them. I'm sure. I mean, assuming the thing doesn't fucking blow up in 10 seconds. That's Radwin's prediction. But I was looking forward to their Earthrise footage that they'll no doubt want to show everybody.
You think if they were gonna blow it up, they'd do it during school hours here in the US?
It's always a possibility.
It's a good thing they have a set of twins ready to go.
Wait, are you guys talking about Artemis?
Yeah, but we're not talking about it with you.
Well, you are now.
No, we're fucking not.
So cryptic. Oh, did you get you muted him? Okay. Fair.
Oh, you take him off mute
It's
and
alright. I mean,
fucking get your bingo card out and
it
see how long it takes him to mention being
I
colonized or
know, I
something.
know.
You go
You
ahead.
know, maybe I'm the optimist thinking that he could actually discuss the topic, but that's unlikely, I
Dude, within
suppose.
5 minutes, he'll be talking about free markets and getting rich.
Elon
Yeah,
Musk.
the dude's a sociopath. He would prefer it. Yesterday confirmed that he has no problem with being greedy, one of the elites, and will destroy anyone that may get in his way to control the populace, depopulate any of that stuff, like without any conscience whatsoever. He's a sick man.
Well, maybe the military will help him grow up a little bit.
Well, it didn't help for Hitler. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. So we do have a few new people in the room. I just want to welcome. Let's see. Oh, it disappeared. Kine, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute. And Amara.
Cryptic promised he down. Swag boy, do you want to continue trying to defend the globe? All right, so Swag Boy says that light travels approximately in straight lines in vision.
Oh, we nearly shot that missile down with the latest system, but it just wiggled away at the last second. Damn that heat from that rocket. Oof.
Flat Earth 101, huh?
Hey, what's up, AI? How are you?
Horrible.
Why?
So I tuned into Flat Earth 101. I had to hear about gas pressure.
Did you have to hear? Did you have to hear about it? What did you hear about
Oh
it that
yeah,
you didn't like?
I just don't like it at all. It's kind of like my ex-girlfriend. I used to like her, now I hate her.
Gotcha.
What I didn't like is that Necros was asked a direct question by Jesse, and Necros didn't answer.
I didn't hear any question. I'm sorry.
But he said, if I have a container and I add gas to it, and then I put it on a scale and it weighs more, what made it weigh more?
Who knows the pressurized gas that is inside? But that doesn't mean that the gas inside have weight. What you have there is already pressurized gas that
Right.
is sealed inside the container. So if you change that sealed steel container and put a
Okay, fair
balloon,
enough.
rubber balloon, it
I don't
will
care about the balloon.
weight
Don't care about the
less.
balloon. Don't care about the balloon.
So yeah, it's the
Right, but
pressurized
when you
element
put it in a
inside.
balloon, now it has buoyancy greater than its surroundings, right?
Yeah, exactly. It
Right,
will
that's
always be
equivalent.
weight
That's
on its own.
equivalent to weighing an anvil on a scale or putting it in mercury and weighing it. Of course, it's going to weigh
Yeah,
different because it's in a different buoyant medium. But that
exactly.
doesn't mean that the anvil doesn't have weight. So your logic is horrible. If I take the gas and I freeze it, so it's no longer free, it's now liquid
Yeah,
or solid,
it,
and I put it in
it's
the
not
same container, then weigh it, is it going to weigh different?
sure it will weigh different because those different
How do you know that?
states have.
No, don't care. Question is, how do you know that?
It's already done. What I know is about the measurement that we
Oh, wait,
can do.
whoa. So you're saying that there's a test out there where they take a container, let's just call it a what do they call these things? A gas tank, right, of a certain size and dimension. it weighs a certain amount. Let's say it weighs 10 pounds or 10 kilograms, whatever. So you put a gas into it, then you put it on the scale, and it now weighs 15 kilograms. Then you freeze the gas and put it in the container. How much is it going to weigh when they put it on the scale?
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding. I was thinking that you were talking about something else. No, I don't know.
Now, if we take the gas and we thaw it till it's a liquid and we put it back on the scale, how much will the container of the gas is out?
Maybe the container will with the same with the gas inside, or if you freeze
Yeah. How
the
come?
container
Right.
what's inside,
Right. So how
maybe
come?
the scale won't change.
Right. So the answer is you don't know. All right. How come?
No, I don't know.
How come when I fill?
I can't hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
It takes more energy for me to lift it off the ground.
I couldn't hear anything from the first part.
Oh, sorry. My thing was cycling. When I when I get a container and then I fill it with gas, how come it's harder for me to lift it off the ground? I have to use more muscles, more to lift it.
When you fill container with gas, if the gas is pressurized inside, so there is huge amount of gas, yeah, it will make a big change or a big difference. But most of the inside of that gas will just turn to liquid or something else, like when you have, like with the propane gas. So yeah, that I don't know, because there is some matter inside that will just change that. But with the gas, the problem is that inside that container, the gas is confined. The gas is not freely moving. So if you let that gas freely moving, it will change everything.
Who cares? Nobody said, yeah, but you're not being asked about it. You're talking about a situation that's not the situation you're being asked about. It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, but it is a complete different situation. So when you are measuring the weight of those confined gases, it's completely different from having those gases moving freely. Yeah,
Well,
good luck
dude,
catching them.
that's like trying to weigh your friend while he's jumping upwards.
Yeah,
right? That would be silly,
true.
right?
That's true. But your friend can stay still.
Right. So the only thing you've actually said effectively
without
is that.
confining your.
Right. Same situation. So
No,
you're basically
it's not
saying.
the same situation.
Yeah, it is.
With all those things, your friend, a piece of metal, a piece of wood, a gallon of water, gallon of milk. Those things you don't need to confine them.
Why not?
They are not moving every direction all the time, every time.
What if you put them in a swimming pool?
You can.
Right. So if you put a jug in a swimming pool and half of it's filled with air and half of it's filled with milk, in order to get the accurate weight of the milk, you'd have to tie it down, wouldn't you? So basically, all you're saying is it's not wise to try to weigh something that's in motion, right?
Yeah, you're confining that thing. Yeah.
Right.
It's not its attribute. Its attribute is not a still thing. So that thing by attribute it is
Right.
all
So
the
what's
time
what's the
moving material.
right? What's the attribute? Correct. So what's the attribute that matters in all of these scenarios? There's only one.
What's the attribute that matters on all these scenarios? I think I would say temperature.
No, No, temperature causes this attribute. So temperature is
The
second
energy,
order.
the energy,
Maybe, but more specific type of energy.
kinetic energy,
Yeah, motion. There you go.
the motion.
Motion.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference between the solid and the liquid and the gas. So solids, it's just that same molecule. I assume the model of the molecule that they are using. So uh, solids, the same molecule, but have the attribute of attraction. Those molecules have that bounding between them, so they
All right, so
bound
then
to
I'm going to
each
ask you
other.
this next question. I'm going to ask you this next question, friend. It's a very important question. Do things in motion not possess weight?
Sorry?
Do things in motion, or when they become in motion, do they no longer possess weight?
Mm, that's a tough question.
No.
I will assume no. I will assume that the weight will just be translated with that
Okay. Okay.
momentum
So then, when
to
you have okay,
force.
fair enough. So if you have a 5,000 pound car and you crash into somebody, you hit them with zero weight.
No, you hit them with the force. So that's what I was about to say. So that weight, the weight of that material and the momentum will translate into a force, not weight anymore. And
Right.
it will
Because
also
weight.
depend. It's the weight is always downward vector, and those
Yeah,
movements
you could
are
say that. Yeah,
dependent.
if you define weight as something that could be measured in the downward only, then sure. Then you'd exclude all other things from weight. But you already admitted that if something has weight, and let's say 5,000 pounds, and then it's moving across the surface at 50 miles an hour and crashes into somebody, its motion didn't change the fact that it has something that causes impact force. What is that thing?
Uh, I I wouldn't say weight because it's specific, but uh, can we
There's
say
something
the
about a
mass?
giant. Listen, there's something about a giant chunk of steel that really hurts a lot more than getting hit with a piece of paper, right?
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. What's that?
It's not one single thing. Would say its density, its mass, its uh, what it's composing it.
You've clearly never had a fatal paper cut.
No, I'm still here, so obviously not.
Yeah, like I said, there is many things that go into that. So the
Necros,
mass of the
Necros, you
thing,
you
its
stumbled on you
velocity.
stumbled onto the problem that if you define weight in a particular way, then you lose the ability to have a a thing that's actually hurting you in all the other directions. But we know that that actually occurs in all the other directions, and it's
Yeah, but when
equivalent to the standing weight of the object. And so, if you don't want to call it weight, what are you going to call it?
I can't call it just the weight. Like I said, it's many things. If I hit you with the 1 kilo piece of steel, so 10 centimeters by 10 centimeter piece of steel, 1 kilogram, so it will do more damage with the same speed. So it will be the same momentum, same speed. It will hit your face. The piece of foam that weighs 1 kilogram will hit you less harder than 1 kilogram of steel. So yeah, it's not just the weight, and it's not just the speed. Like I said, the density of the thing, what's composing the thing itself, so many things going into that. It's not the weight. The weight, like I said, 1 kilogram of steel will hit harder than 1 kilogram of foam going in with the same speed. same velocity. One will hit your
Why?
face and
Why?
throw it away.
Why?
Many things, the steel, the density of the material composing the steel, the mass of that thing. So how much
You missed it, bro.
matter?
The answer is much simpler than that. The answer is rigidity. Rigidity is easier to transfer the force to the next object without having the equal and opposite force cause it to rebound in the opposite direction. That's the answer. Right?
Okay.
So the majority of the force is transferred to the less rigid object. Right?
If we build that differently, like a compact piece of steel and one with the same rigidity, the same steel, the same things, but we build it differently, like you put bars inside and like
Sure.
the engineer will do with building a
Sure.
bridge or
Sure.
something
So
like that.
now take all other objects out and just focus on the steel, chunk of steel.
Yeah,
That
so
chunk of
they
steel,
are both
chunk of
steel.
steel has that chunk of steel, right? It has the same amount of force that it's traveling at the speed it's traveling at, and it's going to impart that force onto whatever it strikes, right?
Yeah, it will transfer that force
But
into
if you
something.
put that same object in a different medium, the medium's going to slow it down, right?
Correct.
So it has the
Resistance.
same amount of stuff because it hasn't changed size or shape, but now it just has less speed, and that's why it hits less force, right?
Yes,
Right, because
resistance.
it's being resisted by the
Yeah,
medium that it's in.
yeah.
Right, which is the same principle of the buoyant force. So if something is more dense than the medium that it's in and it's traveling through the medium towards the ground, that means that the medium doesn't have enough resistance to support it. You know, it's much like putting a giant weight on a table made of paper and it just breaks through the table because the paper isn't strong enough. And the same principle applies to mediums.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Right, so that being all said and done, the object itself hasn't changed. Nothing's changed about the nature of the object in itself. It's only responding to its surroundings.
So in short answer, in your opinion, is it yes or no? Gas have weight or like I
Well,
think
listen,
something that we can't measure.
if you define weight as an application of force against another object in the downward direction, and you add gas to a container, if the scale that you put it on shows more weight, then by necessity you'd have to concede gas has weight. That's how you defined it. So there'd be no way around it. Now, if you want to argue weight is something different, then you have to parse out everything we just talked about and demonstrate how weight is different than the poundage of a thing. Let's say it's 1,000 kilograms. 1,000 kilograms of steel going left to right versus up and down. Which hurts more? And especially since we were skirting around the term mass because we wanted to qualify the impact force of the object traveling at a particular speed, regardless of the medium that it's in. And if you know that weight can change, if it's measured in the downward direction in different buoyant environments, which means a different medium, then you'd have to have a different word to describe the quality that the object possesses, even though it's in different mediums. And so what would you call that? Well, a lot of people call that mass, don't they?
Yeah, many people call that mass.
Okay, so if the quality of something striking you in motion, intrinsic to itself, that can't change regardless of the medium it's in, is mass, and gas has kinetic energy, which is motion, and it can impart striking force upon objects, then wouldn't it have mass also? The answer is yes, it would. There's no way out of it if that's how you define your terms. So when someone like Jesse asks you if you put gas into a container, does it weigh more on the scale and why? I mean, if you don't know the answer to that, that's problematic. Because you're the one trying to claim things like gas doesn't have weight, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because for me,
So
because
when
for
given
me, if
those
I put
scenarios, yeah, check this out though. I just demonstrated to you that according to your own definitions, it does. So you have an incoherent position that you need to update.
so, I just agreed with what you said in general. That's what the paradigm is claiming. But for me, yeah, you're not putting a scale underneath a gas molecule, waiting for that gas molecule to have that downward vector toward the scale and be able to measure its weight. It's not possible. You're not able to put a scale inside the container, a vacuum chamber or container, and vacuum out gas molecules that are inside the vacuum chamber with the scale, and you'll see that it will measure more. So yeah, it's just
Sure. Are you
buoyancy
sure?
and
Hold on, brother. Are you sure it will measure more? Because Jesse said it would measure more, but are you
no,
sure he's correct?
you didn't hear what I said. So the example that I am talking about is that the scale is inside the container with the gas. You're not measuring a container. You're
Okay, but
measuring
we're not.
gases.
We can't. No, friend. We can't do that. We already agreed that measuring something in motion in a direction that's not directly to the scale is silly. So the idea that you'd
Yes,
even think of this, even
exactly.
after we had this discussion, you need to just throw that in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That's why gas is completely different from something else, because I can measure water. I can put a
No,
droplet
dude.
of water.
It's not.
I can put a
It's not, dude.
droplet of
It's not
water
different.
on top of a scale. I can put a droplet
All
of
right,
water
dude.
on top of
All you're saying is something we already agreed upon. That measuring something that's static, as in not presently moving in different directions, when it comes to weight on a downward scale, is appropriate. But something that's moving in different directions would be stupid to attempt.
correct, because gas doesn't obey to that downward vector. That's why we
Right,
are
much like
talking
a
about.
child.
That's
Much like a
that's
child.
what.
Right. So if you take your 3-year-old child and you put him on a scale and he won't stop jumping up and down, how are you going to get his accurate weight? You need to shoot him and then put him on the scale.
Okay, so it's not the thing that is meant to be. So the kid is not gas. So the kid is not
But that's
something like gas.
Necros.
You can't shoot.
You're still avoiding the point, which
You
is you
can't
were
shoot.
asked if I put gas in a
You can't shoot.
container. In other words, restrict its motion,
That's,
just like I shoot
so
my kid and make him stand on the scale. Now,
that's
why does the
listen.
scale weigh more?
So that's the problem. That's the problem of that we are talking about. That's why we are bringing out this topic to the table, because gases need a container. They are not something that you
No,
can just confine like that, where you can shoot gases,
nobody cares.
like you can
Nobody
confine
cares,
them
dude.
with
You weren't asked. You weren't asked about
electromagnetism.
that. You were asked. You were asked a specific question, Necros,
Yes,
by Jesse.
yes.
And this is what he said: when I take gas and I put it into a container, I previously weighed the container; it weighed A. Now, when I weigh it, it weighs A plus more. Why? That was the question you were asked.
Yeah, because there is confined gas inside.
Okay, so then the additional weight was caused by what, friend?
By confined gases.
By the gas, correct?
By
So if
no,
you use any,
no, not by the gas.
wow, dude, Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this,
Not by the
Necros. You
gas.
just said
It's
it's
not
caused by the confined gas, and I said it's caused
exactly.
by the gas, and then you
It's
said no.
completely.
And
It's
you think that
completely.
somebody like Jesse is just real quick. I'm going to lay this out for you, Necros. Do you think somebody like Jesse would respect such an ignorant answer?
No, it's completely different.
Yeah,
Confined
it's so
gas
different,
is
bro.
gas. It's confined gas.
Yep,
It's
let me help
gas
you out. Let
being
me help you out,
confined in a
Necros.
specific.
Necros.
Just listen. Just
Necros,
try.
let me help you out. No, dude. No, I'm the
I don't
boss.
need
Sorry.
help.
Oh, listen
I,
up,
I swear.
Necros. No,
I
you need
swear.
mental help. Pay
I
attention. Pay
don't
attention.
need help.
If I
I don't
take a
need help.
child, yeah, you do, clearly. If I take a child and I tie him up, is he no longer a child?
You're just waiting those cells what's composing the child. It's not the mental. You're not waiting its
Dude,
personality or
everybody can hear
something.
you struggling, dude. It's embarrassing, bro.
Just I'm sorry because
I suggest you take.
I'm trying to find the word.
Friend. I suggest that you take a pause and you reflect on what the words that
So
came out of your
so
mouth. You said that if you put confined gas into a container, it will weigh more. And then I said, so gas in a container causes it to weigh more. And you said no. That's a
so
problem, brother.
just listen to me. When you are taking a kid to put it on a scale, you are weighting the meat, the bones, what's composing the kid. So the kid being
Yep,
dead
yep,
or
yep,
alive,
yep,
the kid
yep.
being dead
I
or
agree with you. All right, now you got to get muted so I can talk freely. So here's what's the problem, bro. You just said if you confine the kid and put him on the scale, you're weighing the meat, the bones, the blood. So if you take gas and confine it in a container, what are you weighing? Unicorn farts? By your own logic, you're admitting that you're weighing the gas, and therefore, according to this whole conversation, you're admitting gas has weight. So Jesse's one question, dude, completely explodes the incoherency in your position. So I suggest you reflect on this and parse out your position more clearly, because it's incoherent at the moment. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say, bro. All right, you could be unmuted. Go ahead.
you don't need to mute me. You can say it that you want to talk over me. I can
No,
let
no,
you
no,
do
dude.
that.
How I do it is I recognize that when I'm talking, you speak straight through me, so I just mute you so I can talk freely. That's how
No,
I
no.
do it. It's not that hard. We're not talking about it anymore. This is your turn to respond to the merits of the logic I just presented, not to talk about me. Go ahead.
Yes. So you're not measuring the gas. If you want to measure the gas, the thing that you were talking about. Okay, so try to mute yourself, scream while you are muted, and you can represent your astonishment and those things while you are muted, please. So you are not measuring putting a scale underneath gases. You can't do that because it's impossible to
Oh
do.
my god, dude.
Because
Wow.
you're not. It's impossible to do because it's gases are always moving. You can't
In
drag
motion. Yeah,
gases.
we already
Just
agreed with
yeah,
that.
they are always in motion. You can't drag gases, put them in drag. You can't do
Listen,
electro.
You're
Oh my!
going backwards. You're
Am I
talking about the
able to
same
fit?
things we already
Am I?
conceded. No,
Am
I'm
I
not interested
able
in
to?
talking in loops, bro.
Am I able to speak?
No, because you were told a specific thing and you're not addressing the specific thing. You're going
Exactly.
backwards in the conversation. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You're
exactly.
not addressing the specifics. Exactly.
I'm addressing this specific thing. I was asked a specific thing. So about measure what
Listen,
why.
Necros, I'm going to help you out. We are talking about gas that is inside of a container. Therefore, if you talk about gas not inside of a container, there's no reason to talk about that.
Okay, you're talking about contained gas inside the container. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have a
So
container without contained gas inside. Okay.
so those gases.
You then introduce gas. The container now weighs more than it did before when you put it on the scale. Well, let me change that because that could be misconstrued. What I mean is when you put the same container on the scale now reads more pounds. So there's an increase in what we have defined as weight being the impression on a scale in the downward direction. So that increase has been caused by what, my friend?
by
Anyway, I got hold on. I gotta go.
by contained gases.
Necros, what was the actual question that Jesse asked you? What was the scenario?
In reality, it wasn't a question. He just claimed that gas have weight.
He
I
just made
said
that
no.
claim.
He
You said
just
no.
made that claim. I said no. He said gas have weight, and that the proof that it have weight, that they measure the difference between an empty container compared to a container filled with gas.
Are you
And
sure
I
that's the
said that,
scenario? Because the video that he posted was of a vacuum chamber, so it weighed a certain amount with, let's call it, atmospheric pressure within it, and then he
yeah.
drew the gas out, and it became lighter. So
They
what do you think happened there? I mean, this is all the same thing that we've been talking about for years.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same scenario that he was talking about. That the comparison between a gas filled with a container filled with gas compared to one which is empty. So they said that gas have weight, and the reason why. So that's why when they put gas inside the container to measures more. And I said
No.
that it's a contained gas, so gas moves freely, and that at that moment it's confined in a specific volume, so it's not moving really freely. So that's
It is moving freely within the container. That's the thing about gas. It's always moving. So it's not like it's just hanging out there still. Those gas molecules are always in motion. So that's
so
sort
I was
of
thinking that
irrelevant.
they were contained.
They are contained. Every gas that you
So they are
experience is
not
in a
free.
container. Even no, they are free. See, even within the Earth system, they are free. They're free to randomly move in all directions. They have kinetic energy. They move freely and randomly in all directions. You put them inside a container, they're going to move freely and randomly in all directions. This is one of those. It's one of my favorite tricks that they pull on people.
Let me
It's like it's a sleight of hand. Let me explain to you what's happening so you understand. The pot or the container or whatever, you can think of it as an object with a certain amount of density, especially if it has the same density within it as far as air pressure is concerned. As soon as you remove that density or that air pressure, you're now changing the relative density of the object. Now it is essentially less dense than it was before, and so it will change vector to a small degree perhaps, or at least in the medium that it's in, right? It's going to become what we call lighter. It's an object. So it's going to lose what we would call weight, right? It's the same idea as when they say I'm going to balance these two balloons on a like they did this in 5th grade for me on a meter stick. They put a balloon, put a piece of tape on the balloon, put a piece of string or whatever, and it was empty. The other one was filled with compressed gas. Why? Because the container is elastic, it compresses the gas. And so you have a more dense object than the other. So it's going to descend, right? It's going to have more quote unquote weight. We're dealing with objects and their relative density in the medium that they're in. That's always whatever it is. And he showed it. He posted his own video, which proves our point. I have an object. It has a certain density. Ambient air pressure in it is the same as the outside air pressure. Now I'm going to take that air pressure out. I'm going to change the density of that object. I'm taking the medium or the air out. I'm removing the density. So now it weighs, quote unquote, weighs less. It's a very simple concept. This will always be a discussion about relative density. The cause, who knows? Less dense goes up. More dense goes down. Same density maintains.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, fair point.
I mean, I appreciate Jesse coming in and going ahead and proving what we've always been claiming, what we always observe. Yes, less dense objects go up, more dense objects go down, depending on the medium that they're in. Thank you, Jesse.
You are welcome.
Who's got birds in
So
the
maybe I should.
background? That sounds lovely. Sorry, Sensei.
It's me.
No, it
It's
sounds
me.
lovely.
So, Jesse, does gas have weight? All right, well, you refuse to engage even in the VC, so you'll be muted, maybe banned. I mean, bro, it's not going to work. The sea lioning and then also the lack of response tells me that you're only here as an opportunist. We will use you, like the troll that you are, to display to people how dumb it must, has to be to believe in the globe and all the things associated with it. But if you don't engage so that we can show everybody on the live stream and also here in the VC that your position is untenable, then I'll just mute or ban you. You are just a useless eater to us, right? We're just going to treat you like garbage. We're going to be using you for content. If you can't engage, bye.
Lovely.
Never die. Do you believe you live on a spinning water ball in a vacuum?
What are you talking about?
Talking about the globe Earth, a spinning water ball in a vacuum. Do you believe you live on one of those?
No.
No. Okay. So you understand that the Earth is flat and stationary, right?
No.
No? Do you not speak English very well? Do you even understand what I'm saying?
No, bro, I can understand you.
Okay. So what would you describe the Earth as then? Is it a flat plane?
You, bro.
Why not?
Because I don't want. And why
Okay.
you mute me?
Do you want to talk to anybody, or should I just leave you on mute since you're belching into the microphone?
No, I don't want to just listen.
Do you want to engage?
No.
No? Okay, well then you'll just be on mute. You can mute yourself or I'll do it. You pick.
Okay.
I guess I'll do it. Welcome to all the newcomers. Muhammad. We have a Mohammed and a Muhammad. Welcome to both of you. Kine, has Kine been on the mic?
Mine said his or her English is not good enough to VC, but Kine asked, the why would they lie question, if you want to address that.
Oh, well, it's like the least favorite question of all time. But
I know.
if people are going to ask the question, I assume that they're conceding that somebody is lying. Now, why they're doing it, I cannot give an ultimate answer that I would be confident about. I have my own suppositions, but nonetheless, somebody must be lying, or maybe they're not. Maybe they are only proffering their own particular belief, and they want everybody else to believe the same thing that they do. Now, they don't have to be lying, but reality is what it is. So whether or not somebody is lying, reality, the one that we live in, the Earth itself, is measurably flat. So we could waste time thinking about why people lie to us, or we could just enjoy reality and ignore the people that are giving us misinformation or disinformation. Probably not a satisfactory answer, you know, but I can't divine anybody's thoughts, and I'm not going to try to appeal to motive. Now, if it bothers you that someone is lying to you, or if you think they are, you are free to ask them why. Not sure you're going to get a straight answer. If you have a college professor that's telling you that you live on a globe and you suspect that they are lying to you, which I doubt is the case, then you're going to have to ask them, why are you lying to me about the cosmology? Wait to see how long you last with, in that particular class as a flat earther, or in society as a whole.
I see we've got somebody called Mohammed in the chat. That's an interesting name, Mohammed. I've not heard that. Where are you from?
Sounds like an Irish name.
I'm from the United Kingdom.
I knew it. I think that's the most popular name in the UK.
Yep. I've got such a dry sense of humour.
Well, it's actually not the most popular name in the UK. The most popular name, I think it's like Noah, or it's like some name like that. What it is actually the most popular baby. Think about it.
Yeah, so most
It's even
popular
worse.
recent name. Yeah, it's even worse, yeah.
I thought wanker was the most popular name in the UK.
That is true. But I thought it was quite popular across the world. We seem to find a lot of wankers wherever we...
Pretty popular name in Australia.
Yeah, man.
But we're basically, just Brits. Brits with a different accent.
Brits on holiday.
Brits on holiday. Yeah.
DJ, do you know the song Don't Take Me Home, Please Don't Take Me Home? I just don't want to go to work. I want to stay here and drink all the beer. Please don't take me home. Do you know that song?
No. Nope.
It's a football chant. It gets sung quite a lot at rugby as well. It should be your national anthem, I reckon. You got to Australia and you just didn't want to go home because you drank all the beer.
Yeah, definitely. Probably all the rugby guys probably know that in Australia, but never a rugby guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really? Oh, of course, that's why you moved to Poland, wasn't it? They kicked you out.
Like if you said you were never rugby league, I could understand. The rugby union, you have to watch that.
Yeah, it's chaos.
That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Even rugby league, it's got to be bad for your brain. Just running full speed headfirst into people the entire game. It's getting pounded into the ground constantly with no padding or anything like that. And then I went to like a school that had a rough reputation. Just like all the other teams would just quit because our team would just start fights the entire game. The other team would be just saying, "Oh, all they want to do is fight."
Fucking sucks.
That's unsportsmanlike.
Not in rugby.
You always used to surprise me here in the UK kind of got the division between football and rugby. Football is the working man's sport. Rugby is kind of the educated man's sport, alongside cricket as well. It's a bit weird. But rugby is far more violent than football, and it's not the working class sport. It's the tough sport, right? It's the sport of the upper classes. It's the sport that's played at places like Eton and Cambridge and Oxford and stuff, right? They got huge histories with these things. But yeah, rugby, probably one of the most violent sports, definitely up there. It's played by toffs in this country.
Sure. We have a bit of a rivalry between the AFL, the Australian League Football, and the rugby AFL. Call it gay AFL. But both of them are pretty intense. But yeah, the rugby guys are definitely much tougher. The AFL guys.
It's funny, like the rugby physique is like rectangular.
Yeah.
Like River City
What position you play. It's either rectangular or triangular. Broad shoulders all the way down to the waist if you want to run, or like the fridge.
Hey, I understood that reference. Did you guys solve it while I was gone? Necros' problem?
I think Seshe dealt with it quite well.
It sounded like he was thinking that if you introduce gas into a container, then you don't increase the density of the container.
Well, there's an important thing that was missed in the entire thing, which I was going to get to, is that Jesse said this happens, and he wasn't asked to prove it. He said, when you do this, this happens, and he didn't get a straight answer, and he didn't get a challenge to his claim. So he basically was just allowed to say an unsubstantiated claim.
I gave him the correct answer. He said that gas have weight, and he said that the argument is that they put gas inside the container, so it makes the difference. So the container with gas weight more than the empty container. Yeah, that's you creating the illusion that gas have that downward vector because the weight is the downward vector, the downward force applied on the scale. That's what we agree upon. Wait,
right. So if the scale reads more, right. So if the scale reads more, and you already defined what the scale reads as a downward vector, then that means by containing gas, it gets a net downward vector. I mean, because it's not that complicated.
Yeah, exactly. It's because it has confined
right, but you already defined that, but that wasn't his question. His question wasn't any more complicated than why. Why does that happen? Why is it that when you put the gas in the container and then put the container back on the scale reads more? Why? That was his question, right?
Yeah, because there is matter inside that container. So gas is matter, and you are confining that matter inside walls of specific container. So that container is going down because it has that downward.
Right, how do you know that? Okay, fair enough. How do you know that when you put the container back on the scale reads more? How do you know
that? I'm so sorry. Again?
If you put the container on the scale, he said the scale will read more. How do you know he's correct?
It's just the claim. I'm just responding to the claim that is made by not just him. It's a claim that I hear every time. So gas contain an empty container weight less than
fair enough, but we're talking about reality, right? So fair enough. But in reality, if somebody says, when I do this, this happens, you could ask them, well, how do you know that's true? And then he would have to say, well, here is a test of them doing it, or I did it, or et cetera, right?
I've seen many. Yeah, he would send some tests. He sent one.
Well, there's another one. Yeah, fair enough. But there's another one out there that supposedly has a counterexample result. and it was proffered on the FED panel shows, I believe. And I'm not sure what they did, but they might have put it in a vacuum chamber. So they might have put a gas in a container, put it on the scale, measure it. And of course, they measured the container empty of the gas that they added. So previous to the add. And then I think they put it in a vacuum chamber and then it weighed less or something like that. But if you put it in the vacuum chamber and it weighs less, that wouldn't be caused by buoyant forces. So it must be caused by something else. So there's more nuance to a lot of these things when you open up your ideas to testing it in multiple different ways that you might not have thought of in the first place.
Yeah, correct. I trust me. I am just responding to the claim that was on the table, the claim that is made by the majority of the globers. So, and always just assume I'm not going with the model of the molecules, and I'm not going with the idea that gas is just a bunch of balls hitting each other and hitting the walls of the container, but small balls, infinitely small balls. I don't go with that shit. I just assume in those models because I'm just arguing against a claim. Someone made a claim, and that claim is just nonsense. You're telling me that you are confining gases inside the container. Those gases don't have any specific downward vector. So you're pulling them down inside that container and telling me that you are measuring the gas. No, you are measuring the container with gas confined inside
In it?
That's all.
Right. So the additional measurement is only caused by what?
It's caused by the masses that are pulled down with that container that are not meant
It's
to be
caused.
to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and what type of mass was introduced into the container?
The gases.
Right.
Yeah.
So the additional
confined.
downforce. So the additional downforce on the scale is caused by what?
Yeah, the part of those molecules that are hitting the bottom of the container. Maybe. Not all.
Oh, so you don't know Pascal's principle and hydraulic equilibrium?
What I understand is that those molecules are hitting also the top of the container. Hydraulic.
Right. So that would cancel out them striking the bottom then, as being a net force.
Yeah, and the other parts of the
Right,
walls
you
of
got
the
it.
container.
Right. So if gas is moving in all directions freely and randomly, which includes every surface of the container, up and down, left and right, then those would cancel each other out, and there'd be no net downward force caused by the kinetic motion of the gas. So if that's the case, which it is, what is causing the additional downward pressure onto the surface of the scale?
Like I said, those additional masses that are inside.
Right. So what you just said is that the introduction of a mass called a gas, just the presence of it in the container, because we already equaled out the kinetic forces as having any particular directional bias, which you already agreed to. So now you're left with an additional mass introduced into the container causes an additional downward pressure on the scale. Right?
Okay, maybe that the thing that is created the downward vector, what some people called electrostatics, some other people called gravity. So maybe it's the thing that is causing the pressure gradient. So yeah, it's not exactly equal. Those molecules,
So you
they
can,
have a
right. So
preference.
whether you realize it or not, that one question Jesse asked forced you by your own logic to admit that gas, when all its random motions are equalized, has a net downward bias. Wow, that was easy.
But it's not because it's free. Because if it is free, it won't do that thing.
Who cares? Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. Everybody already knows that something under its own force, whether it be a rocket, a person, a ball, a bouncy ball, a bird,
that they can move in different directions. We're not talking about that. So talking about that is a red herring. Even though it seems appropriate, it's actually a red herring away from the point that's actually being made.
But that's taking out the only attribute that the gas have different from all other
Right,
state of matter.
exactly. That, you know what that's called? When you remove the variable, it's called isolation. There you go.
Yeah, so you're
So
isolated.
that means that uncontained gas can move freely under its own power, or whatever power is causing it to move. That's fine. We already know cars can go down a street. We already know kids can jump off the ground. We already know birds can fly. Right? So this is like saying birds fly in the air. But if you take a bird and you stick them in a container and the container goes down additionally on the scale, the bird doesn't have weight. How does that make any sense, dude?
That's exactly what I was talking about. So
So according to your own logic, if that's what you're talking about, you admit gas has weight, bro.
Yeah, no, wait, stop. No, you just said it yourself. You are taking away an attribute. You're isolating the material that you are weighting. So it's not exactly the same exact thing, because gases moves freely. You are confining those.
You know what is the exact same? You know what is the exact same? You know what is the exact same? Hey, you know what is the exact same? If you take a rock and you put it in a container and weigh the container, the downward pressure on the scale increases. And according to you, if you take a gas and put it in a container, the same thing occurs. Wow.
Yeah, it's like the same exact thing. That listen to this. Like if you are taking a molecule of gas, it's like someone taking a molecule of gas and he's trying to freeze it. He's freezing the molecule of gas because that molecule will just move all directions. So he wants to put that molecule of gas on the scale. So he freezes that molecule, turning it to liquid, and he scales it, and he tell you, "Oh, look, I measured the weight of the gas molecule." Oh, you just confine it, take its attribute. No.
What's wrong with that?
Work like that.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Right. Listen, gas is a phase. It's not a different molecule, right?
Correct. I understand. But phase that have its own attribute. You don't tell me that you are confining it. It's the same exact thing what the other guy did.
That grows. We all understand that a jumping child can't properly be weighed until you stand him still. This isn't profound, brother.
Yeah, I understand. So he also
It's like you're doing mental backflips. It's like you're doing mental backflips to avoid the consequence that you clearly put yourself into a corner where you admit that gas contained has a downward bias and weight.
And it's what I understand, that you have to confine the kid. You have to put the kid under anesthesia to scale.
Right, we already all agreed on that. All I want you to agree, listen, all I want you to say is that you agree that gas contained has a downward bias.
So your example of the kid is exactly what the guy did with the molecule, because he knows that the molecule is like the kid. It will jump all around all the time.
Hey, Necros, why is it so painful to admit to the thing that you logically argued yourself into?
Is it the same thing? Just tell me yes or no. Is it the same thing?
Dude, it doesn't matter. We already agreed. We already parsed that out. We don't need to retread old ground. You just need to admit that Jesse, Path of Light, wrecked you, and that's just the way it is.
No, I want to admit something that is nonsense. If you have a molecule of gas, if you that molecule jumps all around, if you want to pull it on a scale and you freeze it down,
oh no, dude! We already agreed with that. Holy crap, dude!
I'm not doing this. So I'm not measuring the scale, the weight of the gas molecule when you are changing it. So putting it in anesthesia.
We're not talking about that. We're not even talking about that, dude.
Same example.
No, it isn't.
You're telling me that
I didn't say if you liquefy the gas, dude. I didn't say that. You said that. You keep trying to move to you keep trying to move to other examples. I'm trying to focus on the actual example.
But it is putting the.
So you're doing more red herring. You're doing more red herring rather than just admit the necessary conclusion that everyone heard you argue yourself into.
Like I said, I'm not agreeing with the thing. I agree with what you said that it is what
So you're
mainstream
agreeing, but you're not
upon.
agreeing. How does that
But
even make sense, dude?
I don't agree with the logic because, like I said, if you'd agree with
No, you
that,
did agree. You already agreed. You went through all the steps and you argued yourself into that corner, dude.
So you didn't hear me when I was talking. I never agreed at all. I said, yeah, you have a point in there, but because yeah, it's what the mainstream is claiming. That's what they claim about those measurements that they're done. I swear, I have to believe what is. I don't believe it, but I take it as a given.
Yeah, fair enough. So if you listen, everything, you would agree that everything everything that is more dense than its surrounding medium will travel towards the ground. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you introduce additional density to a container to where it overrides the buoyant force, or whatever you want to call it, let's just call it buoyancy, so that nobody gets upset about it. Once you
Yes.
override the buoyancy, the container will travel to the ground, correct?
Correct. I agree with that.
Okay, so correct. So if you introduce more gas to a container with a limited volume, eventually you'll overcome the buoyancy and it'll travel to the ground, correct?
True. You are not scaling the gas.
What?
You are not
Yes, you
taking the scale of
are.
the gas inside. No.
Yes, dude. I didn't say that. I said, will it travel towards the ground? Yes or no?
Yes, it will travel to
Okay,
more
so what
smaller.
was the cause? Okay, so if all as I'm doing is adding gas into the container, what's the cause
Yeah,
of it finally
more mass.
breaking the buoyancy?
More
More
mass.
gas inside, right?
Yeah, more
Yeah, but
mass.
what type of mass is it? Yeah, what type of mass is it? What type
It's
of
gas.
mass?
It's confirmed
Gas.
as gas. Exactly.
Right. So
Gas.
listen, I'm not even going to wrap up the logic string for you. I'm just going to leave it right there with your own admissions.
I agree with that. It's gas. What you have just
Right.
done it's just what you exactly you said. It's Archimedes principle. There is more
Right.
material.
And now, friend, as
I,
it's traveling towards the ground, simply put a scale underneath it. What's going to happen?
it will measure some weight.
Right. It'll
More
measure the
weight.
gas that you just described moving towards the ground in a downward direction, which is described as weight. Therefore, gas
No, no,
has
no,
weight
no,
according to your own admission. The end.
no.
There's no way out
No,
of
no,
it,
no, no.
bro.
No, it
No, no, no,
doesn't
no.
measure
I'm going to go
gas.
backwards. I'm going to change my answers. Let me
No,
change my answers
I
real quick.
didn't change. I won't change anything because I didn't say anything about that. The end. You didn't
I
ask.
know, hey, dude, you don't have to say it. It's the necessary consequences of your
No, you
claims,
are not
bro. That's the
measuring the
problem.
gas. You are just
You're not
measuring.
measuring the gas. You're
You're not
not
measuring
measuring the
gas.
gas. You're just measuring the additional gas moving
The
downwards.
gas
That's all
doesn't.
you're measuring.
No, the gas doesn't have a downward vector. The gas do not move downward. You are measuring the
Hey,
container where you added some
brother.
gas
I know it's hard for you to
inside.
understand, but the only change was the addition of the gas. Okay?
Yes, inside the container. You are
Oh my God, bro.
adding gas to a container.
Hey,
So
Necros,
you
let me help
add
you out. Let me
mass.
help you out, dude.
That
Let me help you
mass,
out.
you're
You're
comparing
not
that
digging
mass.
yourself out of this hole, bro.
So
And I
you're
don't think
comparing
everybody
the
else
mass.
wants to hear you waffle in circles for the next 2 hours. So
I'm
let's just put a
not.
pin in it. Let's just put a pin in it because clearly I'm right and you're wrong. And since I'm the judge of the contest, I win.
Yeah, you win. I can give you that if you want just someone to. Ole, you win.
Sorry, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
I won't take the win from you.
Hold on. We got
I don't care
a
about
new
that.
person here that wants to ask questions. So we're gonna have to mute Necros because he
so
can't
who's
compose himself.
with
All right.
that? Is he with the Earth is flat? I'm so confused.
Yeah, he's
Or
definitely a flat earther.
yeah, he's giving me the vibe.
We're just talking about internal consistencies of arguments and claims. It's nothing about whether the Earth is flat or a globe, because gas pressure in
Okay,
itself can't tell you whether the Earth is flat or a globe, because you can have a
I agree.
flat
That's why I
object.
go. Yeah.
Right, you can have a flat object inside a pressurized container. You can have a round object inside a pressurized container surrounded by all kinds of different gases, and none of that scenario will change the shape of the object except the object itself. And so the only way to know if the Earth is flat or not is to measure the surface. And when you measure the surface, especially water, you find out that the surface is arranged horizontally and level, which means the Earth is flat. So there you go. The Earth is flat.
Is AI giving you that flat earther vibe as well now?
The experiment itself, I think what he's trying to say, he's trying to say that it's not flat based on this, but I think it's make it, he's improving it
Yes,
somehow.
you're you're sort of on the track, but you would need to know one piece of information that you weren't privy to, which is the globe proponent who is bringing up this point in the first place. The globe proponents try to prove that if gravity exists, then the Earth must be a globe, because in their imagination, things can't fall down if the Earth is flat. So the globers are already train wrecked because they can't imagine a world where things fall down unless the Earth is a giant globe. But more importantly, they think that gravity behaves in a way where it pulls everything towards the surface in a radial direction towards the center of a giant ball, which, in case you didn't notice, is circular reasoning.
Hmm.
They also claim that the Earth is a pressurized gas environment like the air that we breathe, adjacent to a vacuum, one of the highest vacuums in existence, and the air is not leaving the Earth and going into the vacuum. And they say, well, the reason why it's not, even though this violates any experiment we've ever done, they say the reason why it's not leaving is because of gravity. And so the globers desperately need to cling on to gravity for their worldview, because they think it creates the Earth as a ball, and they think it keeps the air on their magic ball flying through a vacuum. That's why it's relevant to the globers. But to the flat earthers, we can concede gravity. The Earth's still flat because it measures flat. We could say gravity is nonsense because the Earth's still flat because it measures flat. We could say you could have a cube inside a gaseous environment. You could actually put a cube inside a vacuum, but the Earth's still flat. And the reason why is because it measures flat, because water is covering 70% of the surface, and water is clearly flat. And when you measure it, it's validated as flat. So yeah, the Earth is flat. There you go. All right, now check this out. I'm going to unmute Necro so he can continue with the conversation, as long as it's not about the previous conversation. Since we've moved on to the fact that the Earth is flat, clearly, and it has nothing to do with gas pressure whatsoever.
Hey,